Hi everybody, my name is Anastasia Dvorak. I'm your Calgary lifestyle guide. Welcome back. I'm a local real estate agent and a blogger, and today we're talking about renting in Calgary. How to rent an apartment, how to rent a house, how to do it quickly, easy and stress-free, what to write in your application, how to write it, what not to write, and all the other little things you have to consider in order to be chosen to be the best applicant for the dream property of your choice. Let's get started. The next part is my favorite because it will actually help you create an application that stands out. We will talk about what to write in your application and what not to write. So here's an actual example that I will put on the screen, and it is an example from somebody who came from Ukraine, and they've sent me a message saying they can't find a rental and they asked for help. So I just gave them suggestions on how to improve their initial email, and it really helped them, and now they have a rental. Okay, so this is their initial message. Hello, we are Polina and Sergey from Ukraine. We have no job, and have has a spelling mistake, but we're looking. Can rent your place now. And I want you to notice that this is a mistake. It should be, can we rent your place now? But even that, I don't even recommend addressing the landlord like that. So imagine you are the landlord, and what would you think of this? And this is an actual email from someone has written to the landlord. And I know you guys may argue like, well, how could you? These are like new immigrants, they don't speak English. But I understand, but they can still go on Google Translate and they can Google Translate it, because it takes like 1 second, right? It Google translated from Ukrainian or Russian to English, and there you have a proper sentence, right? It just takes a little bit of effort, and I want you guys to do it, because if you want that rental, you have to do it. You have to put some work into this. There are 5 problems with this text. Let's go over this. There's no information about themselves, and there's nothing about their character or their habits, nothing about their job. That's a warning sign for a landlord. Then they're from Ukraine, and that's also a warning sign. And many people do not want refugees or new immigrants in their rentals because they think that they're unreliable and they're not financially stable. And yes, that's unethical and even racist to reject people based on their situation or their country of origin, but it happens, right? And we need to understand how to handle this. And then spelling, grammar mistakes, and again, use Google Translate or ask a native English speaker to look over your letter. And then demanding tone, and that's not their fault, they just didn't know it, but they're using can instead of could, and there's no please and thank you. They're not really being polite, and the landlord already thinks they're being rude. These people, basically, they have to understand the Canadian cultural nuances, and they need to respect them. And once we follow certain rules and improve this letter, we will definitely make it easier for these people to rent the place. How can we improve this application? Right here on the screen, you can see an updated version of the same letter, and let's compare them right now, okay? So it says, hi there, we're interested in renting your property. The location is perfect and the view from the balcony is very nice. We are a professional couple in our late 20s. We would like to find a place to rent for 1 year or longer. We're responsible, quiet, clean tenants and pay our rent/bills on time. We don't drink, smoke, party, or do any recreational drugs. We don't have any kids or pets, and we're not planning on having them anytime soon. We're fine with providing 2 months of rent payment in advance. We'd appreciate it if you could please get back to us. We'd like to book a viewing appointment at your earliest convenience. Thank you for your time and consideration. Best regards, Polina and Sergey. So let's talk about this in more detail. So I'm using hi there and good afternoon, good evening. And I think these greetings are better than hello or hi or dear sir, madam, which is a little outdated, but this is just my personal opinion. You guys can do whatever works for you, but this is just my personal advice. They also made a comment about a rental that's very unique about the property. So they made a comment about view from the balcony. So this is something that's very particular to this property. So it's an excellent thing that they mentioned it. This shows that they didn't just copy and paste their application message, they customized this to this particular rental. Also, they're a professional couple, they want to rent long-term, they describe their character, they don't have any bad habits, they don't have kids or pets, which means less damage or dirt for the landlord. But if you do have kids or pets, That's okay. We'll handle it differently later on. They're willing to pay rent in advance, and they're polite and not demanding, and they thank the landlord for their time. So that's everything the landlord is looking for, okay? So nothing was mentioned about their job, and that can be an issue for the landlord. So the landlord asks them about their job. Are you employed? What's going on with your employment situation? So you can say a couple of things. And again, I don't want you to lie. I just want you to say whatever applies to your particular situation. You can say, we have applied for permanent full-time positions within our desired field and are in the process of waiting for acceptance from the employer, if you truly are waiting for the acceptance. Or you can say, we have applied for permanent full-time positions within our desired field and are in the process of waiting for interviews. We have savings and government assistance. We are refugees from Ukraine, and we would have no issues paying your rent on time and in full. Having a stable home is a priority for us. We will treat your home with the same respect we would treat our own home. We appreciate you considering us as potential tenants. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you. So I've also mentioned another version for one single applicant, and you can view it on my website. The link is in description. I'm not going to say it here. I'm just going to put it up on the screen for you real quick so you can quickly read it yourself. You can pause the video and read it. Basically, this is an example of how to improve your communications with a potential landlord. Yes, you're unemployed. However, you're looking for a job and you are presenting yourself as a reliable, trustworthy individual because you're being honest and you're being very descriptive, and you talk about your values. You talk about respecting the place where you will be living, and these things matter. This is very important. So if you have kids, or if you have a pet or a dog or a cat, you need to mention the weight of a dog in pounds, not kilograms, guys. Use Google and find out what the dog's weight is in pounds. Canadians do not know kilograms. We only operate in pounds. And also mention that your dog is very pleasant. So you don't need to mention the age of the dog unless you're being asked directly, because nobody really wants a puppy because they pee everywhere, and nobody wants an old dog because they have health problems and other things can happen with older dogs. And I had one, so I know. Don't mention their age unless the landlord is specifically asking for your dog's age. You don't really need to mention it. So you can say, we have a well-behaved, clean, quiet, and friendly 8-pound Pomeranian dog that will be staying with us in the apartment. If you have a child or a couple of children, you need to mention their ages and their behavior, and how you basically need to mention how well behaved they are and how calm they are, and that they would be studying in their daycare, or they have activities, or they have school or preschool, because the landlord doesn't really want the kids to be there all the time. You can just mention something like this. We have 2 children, our son Maxim and our daughter Yulia. So son Maxim, age 7, Yulia, age 5. They're wonderful, well-behaved, respectful kids. We raised them with a strong belief that you have to respect the place you're in. They're calm and well-mannered and would be away in daycare, preschool, kindergarten, doing activities most of the time. Guys, I know the way it sounds, but I don't hate kids. I have 3 of them. I love kids, okay? But you need to present yourself as a non-threatening tenant, because the moment landlord hears that you have 3 children, it's an alarm. Like, oh my God, are they gonna destroy my place? You know what I mean? And that's why we need to make sure that the landlord looks at your kids as like, they're wonderful, they're clean, they're quiet, they study, they have activities, like they're not a threat. You need to position yourself that you're the best tenant, because they will be comparing you with other potential tenants, and they may have no kids. They may have 0 children. So you have to stand out and make them feel safe. And I know it may be offensive, but I gotta be honest with you guys, it is what it is, okay? We're just trying to make sure you win that rental without lying, but being honest. If your children are crazy and they make a lot of sounds, it can be an issue, guys. So I would definitely not recommend renting 2nd, 3rd, or 4th floor. Rent ground floor and let your children jump around and enjoy themselves and have fun and be loud and do whatever they want. Ground floor is the best for the kids, okay? Because you know what? Neighbors below you, they will complain, and they can be very mean, okay? They can cause a lot of problems. I've experienced that before with my friends and their families, and it's tough, okay? And I feel you guys. I have 3 kids. I feel you, okay? So let's continue.